What the hell happened to fitness? I grew up watching this stuff, and for years I genuinely thought this was what fitness was supposed to look like. Destroy your body, eat everything in sight, train 6 days per week until you physically can't walk, and if you're not doing that, you're just not serious enough. Here's the thing though, fitness YouTube is shifting. I start seeing some new trends that I think will only grow in the future. So here are the biggest things that I see are changing. Gut health and digestion are finally getting attention. Not all healthy foods are actually healthy. You see less obsession with macros, but more focus on actual nutrients. You lower the training volume, but increase the intensity. Now, in this video, I'm not gonna teach you how to get attention of all of the office MILFs and how to start mugging every guy in the office with your big biceps, so it's not gonna be that much value. But I will just go over the trends that I see are growing in the fitness YouTube and why I think they will be only bigger in the future. The fitness content that dominated YouTube for the last decade was never designed for you. It was designed for people with top-tier genetics on steroids or people whose full-time job is being in the gym, like Rich Piana, Liver King, Trent Wins. They're entertaining as hell, they're very fun, but millions of people saw their videos and took that as a blueprint for their own fitness. Now, train more, eat more, push harder. If you're not growing, you're not doing enough. And I thought I was doing everything right. I was eating clean by every standard fitness YouTube told me, oats with peanut butter to gain weight, egg whites and chicken breast to lose weight, pre-workouts, post-workout shakes and protein powders with milkshakes and shit. So on paper, everything looked clean. On paper, everything looked like I was doing the right thing. But I felt terrible. I was constantly bloated. I was tired throughout the entire day, not just after workouts. And this was my baseline. Heavy, foggy, just feeling like a bitch. And I assumed it was training fatigue. Maybe I needed more sleep, maybe more protein, but I never questioned whether the food itself was the problem. And turns out a lot of that was due to my disrupted digestion. Oats, high fiber vegetables like protein powders, pre-workouts, low calorie snacks, all of that was consistently nuking my digestion, and I was inflamed not despite eating healthy, but because of what I thought was healthy. And it was only after I lowered my training frequency to 4 times per week, lower amount of sets, and focused more on nutrients rather than simple protein, and focused on easy to digest foods with low allergens, I felt much better, and I started making more progress in the gym. Most people think that if you're not making progress in the gym, the solution is just to do more. More training sessions, more eating, more proteins, more supplements. But that's wrong. The fitness industry is just built around selling you more, and this do more message was never really about your results. It's just a business model, and this new trend is completely contrarian to that, and that's exactly why I think it will stick. So here's what I see is actually changing. First of all, it's your digestion and gut health, because the old message was just to hit your macros, eat a lot of protein, eat clean, have an occasional cheat meal, and you're a good boy. But nobody was asking how well are you actually absorbing any of that. Because if your gut is inflamed, which is extremely common for a lot of people eating what is commonly known as like a healthy diet. If your gut is inflamed, means you're absorbing around like 50% of the nutrients that you are eating. So imagine if on a calorie tracker, you eat 200 grams of protein, sweet, you're a good boy, but you only absorb 100 of that. And right now there is a growing trend of adding things that actually support your digestion. So these are the fermented foods, focusing more on probiotics. It's not a bro science and it's not sexy, but that's the vital part. That's the behind the scenes part that people don't really talk about. But I see there's a growing trend of this, and I know it will only grow. Train less with higher intensity. Here's the reality for someone who works an office job. The stress you get from the office job and the stress you get from the workout, for your central nervous system, it's the same amount of stress. For your central nervous system, it's the same thing, and you will need to do the same thing. You'll need to recover. And for recovery, you need sleep, and there's only so much sleep you can get. If you're constantly thinking about the deadlines, the projects, the emails, the meetings, the people, all of that fucking bullshit, it puts a lot of pressure on your central nervous system. I don't know why I'm showing brain. Central nervous system is going through your whole body. It's everywhere. It's everywhere and gets a lot of load, a lot of like intensity if you're constantly stressed. So if you're constantly stressed and you see that your gym progress has stalled, the solution is never to add more. It's never to add more because it will make things only worse, and I know it myself because I went through it myself. I had the same problem. My progress started to stall when I was in the most stressful period in my life, and I thought, dude, like I just have to add more protein, I have to add more sets, more volume, and that will be the answer. And I did this and I basically burned out. I just burned out, and adding more is never the answer. If you train smart with high intensity 3 to 4 times per week, you will make much more progress than some brain dead guy training 5 to 6 times per week. So as you see, the old fitness content was very far detached from reality. You can watch Trent Wins, Liver King and be entertained, but you can't really apply what they do. Around 1 year ago, I met my friend in the gym and somehow we started talking about Trent Wins, and he said that he actually watches their content because sometimes they give a good advice, and I asked him to give me at least one good advice you learned from them. And he said something like, they gave a good advice not to take steroids. And this conversation was right after they've released the video on ranking steroids. Dude, like, they have built their whole career and brand on abusing harshest steroids possible. They literally have steroid in their channel name. If someone would tell you, don't drive under influence, would you say, oh thanks, that's a great advice. I wasn't planning anyways, but that advice is really helpful. Like, you see what I mean? There's no practical takeaway for someone with a normal job and normal genetics who just want to build an aesthetic physique, be healthy and stay healthy. This new wave is actionable and applicable for majority of the population, just regular office slaves like you and me, right? With normal genetics, who don't want to become powerlifters, who don't want to step on the Mr. Olympia stage, but just want to look really good. This new wave of content is focused on being healthy, building muscle, recovering, and still having energy for your outside of gym life. So these are the trends I currently see growing, and I think will be only bigger in the future. Because its main advantage is that it's designed for majority of the population like you and me. Not just regular office slaves with a corporate job, without any special genetics, but who still want to build an aesthetic body and improve health. So if you've been following traditional YouTube fitness for the past 2 to 3 years, and you wonder why you're doing the same things but you're just not growing, this is the answer. This is the exact answer. The content you were consuming was never designed for you in the first place. If you're just completely retarded and could take away like one thing from this video, that would be just to focus more on nutrients. There are no nutrients in protein powder, chicken breast and egg whites. They have no nutrients, just eat more red meat, organs and whole eggs. Peace out.